Digimon levels. They're messy, and that's intentional sometimes. We have armors and spirits that exist outside of the level paradigm. We have Cross Wars and Appmon that deliberately shook up the level formula. But sometimes, there are Digimon that just seem nonsensical in the level they're assigned. At the end of the day, it's not that deep, and I'm not mad at them being the wrong level per se, but in my mind, nonetheless, these 10 Digimon are completely the wrong level. What is up, digital companions? My name is Karn EX, and hay fever is kicking my ass. I do want to acknowledge a video I did similarly to this in the past, with some standouts like Blimpmon being not an evolution of Gardramon always blowing my mind. I do want to acknowledge that slide evolution is a thing, but here I'm talking specifically about Digimon that just do not look like they're at the level that would make the most sense on a power or scale setting, but also on a narrative or emotional level. If we think about Digivolution in context of things like the anime and less like the V-Pets, there's always this kind of like moving forward in those evolutions. I also do want to acknowledge that Digivolution levels are supposed to be about the age of the Digimon, at least on the V-Pets. However, especially in the anime, but also in the card game, manga, almost every other Digimon media, Digivolution has very clearly become more than about age. It's a definitive symbol of a Digimon's power, too. That's why Agumon has to go to champion, or even why Zero Maru, who is much stronger than a normal champion, still ultimately has to Digivolve in V-Tamer to be strong enough to defeat other threats. To me, Digivolution is a combination of age, somewhat, and power, but not necessarily size. In fact, the point of Digimon like Gatomon and Marine Angemon to me is to show that big things come in small packages, just like Tom does. However, I do think scale and perceived power are indicators of a Digimon's level, and examples like Gatomon and Marine Angemon are more so exceptions that prove the rule, or at least Digimon designed to subvert the conventional expectation of their level. So anyway, the first Digimon that I think is the wrong level is Mogiamon. It definitely has the build of a champion, but it's always frustrated me that it can't be a direct pre-evolution to the mega level Digimon, because it should be. Mogiamon to Digimon makes so much sense, and I don't think you need an ultimate level Digimon in between necessarily, because that might add too many elements. To me, Mogiamon to Digimon makes so much sense. Maybe Digimon should be an ultimate level and should get its own mega grand Digimon. These two being like barely linked has always been wild to me. Then next up is Pandamon, which just shouts champion to me, to the point that I have straight up in previous videos mistakenly referred to it as a champion. It feels like it should be a pre-evolution to something like Monzemon. And don't get me wrong, that was totally my L getting it wrong, but that's just because it feels so much like a champion. And that Monzemon connection I think is good because they're both puppets too. It would be a fun prevo, like go Shumon, Pandamon, Monzemon or something, but no, it's an ultimate, a perfect. I don't like it. This was just a personal gripe of mine. Agiomon being a champion level when it's very clearly depicted as like a child, to the point that I have a whole theory that the next Digimon story game is going to have a child become an Agiomon, but no, Agiomon is a champion. Making Agiacusmon, all of the various ones of those, ultimates or perfects, and they definitely work as ultimates or perfects. Like if you look at Lilymon, there's a very similar kind of build and proportions going on there, but also equally I can definitely see these guys as champions, like Beetlegamamon and Gulugamamon. They got similar proportions to those too. And if Agiomon is a champion, then Igunitmon should be one too. They're literally built the exact same. So either Igunitmon needs to be a champion or Agiomon needs to be a rookie, but either way, something's gone wrong here. Though I will say I do like that Agiomon's rookie is a Lekmon because of the Jupitermon connection. That's pretty fun. Quick one here, Gokumon. Why is that not a mega? It just feels like such a good capstone to a monkey evolution line, you know, having like Monmon as the rookie, maybe Targetmon and Etamon as prevos, even though I know technically Etamon's like a puppet, not a full-on monkey, but you get my drift. Gokumon being the reference to Goku Sun Wukong, ending an evolution line would make so much sense, but instead we often have to make it so that Gokumon digivolves into things like Gankumon instead. I don't know, every time I look at this guy, I'm like, oh, Gokumon, cool, he should be on the same level as like Shakamon. But obviously that's because all of these Jinny to the West Digimon, Gokumon, Chohakaimon, Sanzomon, Shujinmon, are all supposed to merge together to become Shakamon, the Jinny to the West Digimon. So I totally get the reasoning here. Maybe instead of having Gokumon change its level, I just want like a full-on Wukongmon or something, just to really go one step beyond and have a monkey mega level Digimon. I weirdly love monkeys. Next up is a controversial one, because I don't think I've really talked about it before, but the Systemon. They all have awakened forms, and to me, those awakened forms should absolutely go up a level. Like I say, I totally understand that mode changes and slide evolution are a thing, and the awakened forms are supposed to be mode changes, but truthfully, I think that in itself is flawed. To me, the shift from Systemon Ciel and Systemon Noir to their awakened forms is different enough to be an evolution, kind of feeling like the same kind of jump as Angemon to Magna Angemon or Lilymon to Rosemon. It's not a fundamental shift like, say, a Gatomon to an Angewomon, but the difference is marked enough to not feel like a total mode change to me. It's also what my problem has been historically with the X antibodies. Sometimes it feels like a whole evolution stage up, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So the awakens for Noir and Ciel now, fine, but I do think they should probably be ultimate or perfect level, not champion like they are. Maybe getting a different name instead of Systemon Noir Awakened, Holy Systemon Noir. But the one that I think really zeroes in, and I hate to give anything to the sickos on the internet, but Systemon Blank Awakened looks more proportionate to the champion level Systemon CL and Systemon Noir than her very childlike rookie does. Don't be creepy though. Like, Systemon Blanc is a tiny little child, but her awakened form feels much more in line with Noir and CL, and I guess their awakened forms too. So this not going up a level, especially considering people's insistence that Digivolution is about aging, not just power level, again it's both. Systemon Blanc Awakened obviously looks older, like it's grown up in comparison to Systemon Blanc's base form, so it being a child too is kind of wacky to me. Hey, speaking of rookies, Cupimon is a goddamn rookie, it just is. Listen, I get that the Lucemon line is kind of power weird, with Lucemon Child being very strong, like above champion level probably, and Lucemon Fall Down Mode being an ultimate level that honestly probably should just be a mega, but outside of its context as a Lucemon pre-evolution, Cupimon much more resembles typical rookie vibes like Impmon, Luxmon, etc., and does not really resemble fellow in training Digimon like Koromon, Motimon, etc., who have much more simplistic designs and sometimes less limbs and things like that. Like I say, I totally get it. Lucemon's whole bit is that it and Fall Down Mode and Satan Mode even kind of break the level they're at, so maybe I just don't really vibe with that. I don't know. Maybe what we need to do is get a Waymon situation and have a Cupimon in training and a Cupimon rookie. But like I say, at least Luxmon exists now, so it feels a little bit less weird to not have this like holy rookie Digimon. And I guess we also had Lucemon this whole time. Lucemon's so confusing. And yeah, I also talked about X antibodies earlier. Well, I have a couple here. First, Gotsumon X. Like, that is a champion. It looks like a whole stage up from Gotsumon. It's got more in common with Golemon size-wise than it does Gotsumon. I'm less mad about X antibodies these days, but like looking at Gotsumon X, it just feels like a whole level up. And honestly, I feel very similarly about Hagurumon X too. It's got so many more augmentations, it's got its co-Hagurumon. It feels on a similar level to Gardramon as opposed to Hagurumon. It just reminds me of those Gear Pokemon from Gen 5. If these are evolutions, Hagurumon X can be an evolution. And hell, if Dark Knightmon can jump an entire level when it gains the X antibody, so can these guys. Hey, speaking of that, Dark Knightmon. It is an ultimate or perfect level, but its X antibody goes up a whole level to the mega level. Just proving every time someone has told me, well, X antibody just can't go up a level. Apparently they can. It's so baffling to me that of all Digimon, it's almost like they looked at Dark Knightmon and were like, oh, we made that guy an ultimate level? Damn it, I think we were supposed to make him a mega level, but we messed up. I could do a whole video on Cross Wars being the wrong level. In fact, that's half of this video. And they're like, well, we want to make an X antibody for him and we want to make it pretty strong, so maybe we just make the X antibody a mega Digivolution? And they were all like, yeah, sure, do that. Or the opposite happened. And someone was like, oh, I'm making Dark Knightmon X. And they were like, cool, absolutely. And they wrote up the reference book and they were like, yeah, mega level, just like Dark Knightmon. And they hit publish. And then someone in the office went, no, Dark Knightmon's an ultimate, you messed up. And the guy that was making Dark Knightmon X went, don't care, I'm clocking off, bye. Anyway, yeah, Dark Knightmon should either be a mega or Dark Knightmon X should retain its ultimate level. I personally think Dark Knightmon should be a mega. And honestly, adjust Skull Knightmon too and make that an ultimate level. But like I say, Digimon Cross Wars has a lot of weird level decisions and they're going to be my last two of the video. First of all is Damemon and Tuamon both being champions. To me, a clear V-pet line would be Chuchumon to Damemon to Tuamon as the ultimate level. Damemon being a sort of Cross Wars-esque take on Sukamon and the Sukamon and Chumon relationship. So when that Digimon gains a much more combat-focused form, that's the Lilymon, the Zudomon, the Weregarurumon, them being given the same level post-Cross Wars is just baffling to me. Like, I totally get the season did not lend itself to conventional levels, and there is likely a reason for this. Keeping Tuamon a champion level means things like Deadly Tuamon or Muso Knightmon can be ultimates, which makes sense, but they've never given them levels in the reference book. This is why I'll always be a little bit frustrated when people say, oh, Atmon would never work in conventional Digimon levels, we shouldn't give them conventional Digimon levels. As if Cross Wars wasn't a total botch. Cross Wars did not lend itself to conventional evolution stages, so then post Cross Wars they were like, well, we've got to use these Digimon for something. They started giving them levels, and a lot of the time it sort of made sense, sometimes didn't make sense, sometimes just had to make do. Cross Wars to me is way more of a headache than Atmon would ever be, so I don't know why that's one thing and that's another. But anyway, point is, fix the Damemon evolution line. But okay, at least there isn't another Digimon that is so powerful and huge that like bare minimum should be an ultimate level Digimon, but instead somehow got made a champion. Damn it. Decadramon got shafted hardcore being part of Deca Greymon. So a champion Decadramon plus an ultimate 2010 Metal Greymon become an ultimate level in Deca Greymon. So if Deca Greymon doesn't even go up a level either, is that why they kept Decadramon a champion? Ultimate plus ultimate would have to equal equal Mega, right? So we nerfed Decadramon to Champion. Champion plus Ultimate equals more powerful Ultimate? What's the logic on this one, Bandai Namco? I need to know. But look at him, bro. He's at Ultimate level. He should be a Leviamon Prevo. He should be at the club. Decadramon being a champion is always going to be one of those things that whenever I make a video and use him as a champion, people in the comments go, Decadramon, a champion? I've literally been actually about using Decadramon as a champion, then have to go, no, this is not one of those times where I messed up. He straight up just is a champion in the reference book. And maybe the logic is similar to like Waymon champion or something, or even like the Trailmon being champion equivalent. These vehicle Digimon are just larger, but you can kind of like get inside them somewhat. Ugh, don't like that. But it's just baffling to me. I cannot see Decadramon as anything lower than an ultimate level. And I think what they need to do is actually make a crocodile alligator Digimon that's a Digivolution level below, and then retcon Decadramon. That would honestly be huge, and it wouldn't be unprecedented. The Digimon reference book has removed things like the X antibody from certain Digimon. However, Sanjamon apparently is no longer considered a natural carrier of the X antibody, according to the reference book, and that's never been fixed. So it's not like the Digimon reference book can't be revised or changed, so maybe one day Bandai will go, okay, we messed up, we're gonna change Decadramon. Unfortunately, they have kind of cemented a lot of this in V-Pets in the card game, so I'd say that's pretty unlikely going forward. But anyway, that is it. 10-ish Digimon that I think are completely the wrong level. Let me know yours in the comments down below, and maybe we'll do another one of these. Decadramon is always going to be wild to me. Thank you to my Sovereign on Patreon, ZDK14, and everyone else who supports me over on patreon.com/Karn EX. Got some cool custom art videos coming up really soon, including a Pokemon one. What? And also thank you to my YouTube channel members for always holding it down. I do appreciate you too. Either way, you're directly supporting the channel, and it really means the world to me. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time when we go digital. Bye bye.